I think we're recording now. All right. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you, Michelle. Michelle is an artist in Ireland, and she went through, actually did a, did you do it for 30 days?
I did, yeah, I did it for the month of November.
For the
So
month of November, she was selling paintings every single day for the month. And this was kind of modeled after a sale that I did in September, where I was selling artwork every day. And then I shared how I did that. And Michelle is one of the artists who kind of saw that as a cool thing and decided to try it. And then reached out to me and wanted to have a conversation about it, because she's been getting questions from her community about how that went. So we thought we would hop on to a recording and chat together about our experience with this and how it went, and hopefully spark some ideas for other artists and what you can do with Instagram and to sell your art. So Michelle, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
yeah, sure. So my name is Michelle Harton. I'm an artist from Ireland. I work mainly in acrylic on paper, canvas, with like ink soluble pencils and water soluble pastels. And so I saw Andrea's video not that long ago, really, and I just really had been seeing a lot of these challenges like Inktober and all those different challenges, and for some reason I don't know, I felt like I couldn't do it. But when I saw your video, I think like the title really caught me, was how I sold 40 paintings in 30 days. And I was
Right.
like, wow. Mm-hmm. So when I watched it, like, I think I watched videos about 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to just like really get all the detail in. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And it came after I'd been working on an exhibition for 8 months on the fairy stories of Oscar Wilde.
Oh, wow.
And I thought I was going to give myself a break when I finished that. And then I ended up being asked to do another exhibition, solo exhibition, for 2 weeks after that. And then so I had just finished that, and I was kind of thinking, okay, will I have a break, or will I do
double down and paint every day?
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, maybe if this is the time to try and see what's going to come out after doing those 2 exhibitions, especially because I had been focused, so like for the Oscar Wilde stories, obviously I'm focused on a theme for so long, and I really wanted to just experiment and see what came out. So I did the 30 days, but for some reason in November, when I sang that song 30 days had November, April, June, and I wrote 31 on everything that I did. So how I made up for that was on the last day I did 2 paintings.
Oh, okay.
So I did 31.
You didn't want to cheat them.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I wrote it on everything. I'll do it. I did, and then a lot of people said to me afterwards, "You didn't know there was only 30 days." I was like, I never noticed.
Right.
So I ended up selling. So I did the 31, and then another person asked me during the sale, could she have 4 of the paintings? I called it the mystery of the sale as well. And so what I thought was, I didn't want to take away from, I suppose that the thing of that people had a painting every day to dib, and then just remove 4 from that, from the people who pre-ordered. So what I told her was I would do them separate, like you did. You would, if they didn't pick one, they got 4 mystery, they got a mystery painting at the end.
Yeah.
So I decided that I would do them separate, and then another person asked me for 2 for her child's bedroom, actually.
Oh, neat.
So I did them separate too. So, but I've never done commissions before. It's usually something I avoid like the plague.
Right.
So that really interesting because I work very intuitively. Like I work with an abstracted background, and then I pull figures out of it.
I love
so
that.
I never know what's going to appear. So for somebody to tell me they need something in the picture can be very hard for me to do. But it's interesting, like they actually went really well, and the people have been super happy with them. So the mystery sale has brought me to the point to kind of get away a little bit of that fear.
Oh, good. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Well, it's funny you say that about commissions, because part of the reason I did this was I don't like doing commissions either, for the same reason. Like if you're going to tell me to work in a specific palette and it needs to be a specific size, I have like a a block against it too. Like the painting doesn't come to me when it's being dictated by someone else. And so this was kind of a way around it, where in a way they were commissioning a painting that they would get in the future by pre-buying it, but they didn't get to choose it until they didn't get to dictate what it was. They were just going to choose from what I came up with. So it's kind of like a commission workaround a little bit.
Yeah. And did you find from the days, I guess, will I give a quick explanation for anybody maybe who doesn't know?
Yeah, we should probably walk through kind of the framework for it. Sure.
Okay, so you did 30 days as well, didn't you?
I did 30 days, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for 30 days, we pre-sold paintings beforehand, so people had no idea what they were getting. And then each day for those 30 days, we would post a painting a day on Instagram. And the first person to like dibs underneath it in the comment section who had pre-ordered a painting, they got the painting that was theirs. And then so for you, what you did, anyone who didn't pick their painting, they got a mystery painting at the end of it.
Right. I wanted to give some opportunity for folks who maybe weren't on Instagram every day or weren't able to quickly pick it out or call dibs. I mean, people were calling dibs like moments after I was posting these pictures, which was amazing.
I was very afraid the first day because nobody dibbed the first day.
Oh,
and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Really scared, and then after like a day or two it really picked up. But like my friend said to me, she was like, well, I wouldn't pick the first day, everybody is waiting to see what's gonna come out after, what's gonna work.
It's true.
I actually had my local newspaper, there was actually 3 different people in the office, they had all ordered a painting.
I love that.
Yeah, and they told me that they had a conversation before I started posting. They were like, let's wait until like maybe we should wait around the second week or so, she'll be starting to get into her flow.
Oh.
So they were kind of, I guess, analyzing what my
wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, yeah, there was kind of like, I want to wait. I had a lot of people who were like, I'm waiting to see what's next. And, but then they were like, now I regretted not dibsing the one I saw last week, I'm like, and so there's a little bit of fun in it, a little bit of a contest to it, that I felt like my followers really enjoyed. So that, when I decided to do this the first time, but this is the second time I've done it, I did the 30 days this year, and then last year was the first time I did it. I did it a little bit differently the first time and tried to improve it this year. And when I was sitting down to do it, I was like, okay, I have a few goals in mind. I want to increase the engagement of my followers on Instagram. I want them to get used to purchasing artwork online or make them feel comfortable purchasing artwork through Instagram, because I felt like there was a little bit of a, we scroll through Instagram, but we don't always think about buying something, especially artwork. And so I was like, what is something fun and engaging I can do? And also, what can I do to generate some revenue, kind of like with the Kickstarter model, where some people are paying for the artwork before I've even created it, and what could I do to make that happen? And that's how I kind of came up with this. So I'm really happy that like this year was definitely more successful than last year, and it's really exciting to see that it's working for others as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I loved how you called it an interactive art buying experience.
Yeah.
Because what that one line did, it made me start thinking, okay, what other interactive experiences could you create with your buyers? Because I think like I had seen on your page, where people were like, oh no, I wanted that one.
I know. I loved that, the interaction.
Yeah. And then like when it started to happen on my page, I was like, this is so fun. And then the comments that people were saying afterwards, like, I literally am going to get fired from work because I'm just like watching the page all day. And even people who didn't buy or they weren't ready to buy at that time, they were like, they said they made them really happy seeing what I was going to post every day.
I love that. Well, it does get your audience used to like looking at your feed every day and anticipating what new work you're going to come out with.
Yeah.
which is wonderful. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that was another thing, an interesting thing. One of the journalists said to me was he was like, they were wondering like by the last week would the paintings just completely go downhill because I would be so exhausted. And
Right.
I had to laugh because one of the days, it was near the end, one of the last few days, I actually did a painting called Duvet Day. And it was just like a girl wrapped in a duvet because I was just so tired.
Yeah.
Because like I spent, when I saw your, and I know you said maybe you spent about an hour or so, is it on each one of your pictures or a bit?
It kind of, it varied. It
Yeah,
varied.
yeah. But I'm a very slow painter. And so
Oh.
I would spend so long. And because they were small, I think they take me a lot longer because I start to get into the details.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent like literally it took over my whole life. Like I spent hours and hours and hours on
Oh
each
my
one.
gosh. Well,
I
let's
did
talk a little bit about that. The process of, I mean, this is something where, I mean, you could have done and this is was my intention to do like a bunch at once and then
yeah,
have them to post every day. But the reality is it didn't really work out that way. And so I was just doing them every single night. So I would have something to post the next morning.
yeah.
So did you find yourself doing a similar thing where it was just a daily painting?
Yeah, I did pretty much all of them every day. Some days if I knew I wasn't gonna be able to paint the next day, I would paint two,
Oh,
which
wow.
I literally painted all day. And and so what I like I found that kind of tough because there was some days I had to do two. I think there was one day I had to do three.
Oh,
Just
wow. Yeah.
I was going away, and I suppose it's that pressure of having to do it is so strong. And
Mm-hmm.
like I'm a bit of a perfectionist as well, so with the quality and things like that, I really wanted it to be right and for each one to be as good as the one
Right.
before it. So
Yeah.
I guess that in a way was mentally draining, and I did
Mm-hmm.
wish that maybe I had started even a week or two beforehand, that I just had a few extra for the
Yeah.
days maybe when I was feeling like I can't
Mm-hmm.
do my best today.
Yeah, I feel that too. I think when I do this next time, I'm going to try to do more in advance. I
Yeah,
did like the fact that it forced me into the studio every
yeah,
day, though. I mean, I liked that. But unlike an Inktober where you can kind of there, it's not the same amount of pressure when you've committed something to your audience and they are expecting a piece and they've pre-bought, they've already invested. There is definitely this added pressure and
yeah. That's the thing. The fact that they have pre-bought it, and then especially if the one before the day before has been really good, and you had a lot of people going, "Oh, I wish that was the same."
yeah,
It kind of bumps up the expectation for the next day.
right. Uh-huh.
Did did you find yourself influenced by the paintings that people really wanted, like for the next day?
You know what? A little bit. I was because I know like about midway through the month, I noticed that certain of my paintings were I was doing a lot of this gold ink in it, and like people were really into that, and so I started doing that more and more. And actually, the work that I'm doing now has like gold foil, and like I've like totally gone like gold is like my new thing right now.
Yeah, I
So
love
it was
gold.
really interesting to see, and it's so interesting to get that immediate feedback, and
Yeah,
that daily feedback on like, yeah, this was hot. This was amazing. People really like this. There were a couple that I sort of threw in there that I was like, these, I did two, I called them bonus ones because they were ones that I didn't think were like good enough to be the
yeah.
main
Oh,
one.
yeah, I know.
But I threw them in there as like, let's just see, it kind of like freed things up to be more experimental.
Yeah.
And so I threw those in there and those actually were like really popular too. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I just like don't even know.
That was where I was leading to, because
Yeah.
I had totally the same experience. I had
Mhm.
one painting and I kept it for 3 days. I actually was at one, I was like, no, I can't do this. And I this one's not good enough. And I did it.
Uh-huh.
and I put it up, and it was probably one of the ones I got the most messages afterwards.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and it was so funny because people were like messaging me afterwards, like, I really wanted that one. That was, and I was like, kind of thinking,
What?
I wasn't sure if they thought I was gonna. Okay, you can have it in.
Oops, we're getting glitchy. Hang on a second.
You know, there's one instance I feel after that I have the picture.
I'm sorry, Michelle. The audio is really. I think my internet's bad. Okay, let's hang on a second. I don't know why it was going so well. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry.
Okay, I think. Are we back?
You're back.
Okay. So you were saying you posted one that you didn't think was going to be great, and then it was probably one of the more popular ones.
Popular. So I feel after that I have no judgment. I not work.
Oh, my internet. I'm sorry.
Because you're okay. Don't worry. You're back again now. I think it just jumps for a second and then it comes back again.
Yeah, I don't really know what to do about it.
That's okay.
Okay. Well, let's just continue on.
You want to keep going? I was just saying the one that was one of my favorite ones was one that didn't get picked until literally after the sale had actually ended.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so I feel like I need to let somebody else do my quality control.
Well, no, I think but, you know, they're doing it for you, really.
Yeah. I guess from a spiritual point of view, I guess I always think that there's some paintings that are just meant for other people and they're not meant for me, so maybe I'm not supposed to feel that way about them.
You know what? I love that philosophy. And I haven't heard that. I've never heard anyone say that before, and I love that. Yeah. I think that's so true, that, you know, maybe you're the
channel,
the vessel to bring this piece to life, and it's really for someone else. That's wonderful.
No, I suppose because mine are figures that come out of abstracted pieces, I do really feel like I'm kind of digging for these mystical figures to come out of. So the more I paint, the more I think they're not for me. So there's somebody waiting for them. And then the person who did pick it, she actually she thought she had dibbed a picture.
Oh yeah.
And then she was like, okay, so when's my painting coming? And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
She hadn't seen that I had wrote back that it was already dibbed. And then I said, well, I'll paint you some. Tell me what you know, which one you like the most, and I'll paint something for you. And I said, I do have one left, but you know, don't feel obliged. You have to take this one. And when she saw it, she like completely connected with it, and I was like,
I love that.
Just waiting for her to take it.
It was waiting for her. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's how I ended up with the 31. Then they all sold in the end.
That's wonderful. One thing I noticed is that, and we should talk a little bit about some of the technical stuff we ran into, you know, shipping and everything, but I noticed you definitely had you had international people dibsing your paintings. And one thing I ran into is I had folks that I would post my paintings at you know, usually in the morning my time, which meant that people like in New Zealand, it was like the middle of the night for them. So they were like, I can never dibs one, you know? So with some of those international folks, I ended up picking out paintings for them and sending them, you know, later. But did you run into anything like that?
Yeah, I did. What I did was I tried to do a mix, but at the beginning I was posting in the morning, but then a lot of people, like I suppose in Ireland, people were coming home from work about 5 or 6 o'clock here because the majority of the people who bought were in Ireland. But I tried to just do it as fair as I could. But then another aspect of it was sometimes I would have to paint all day, so I couldn't post it till the evening till it was ready. Some of them started to get later and later. One lady who bought, she was in Czechoslovakia.
Wow.
Not Czech Republic. And so she wrote to me one night and she's like, I'm sorry, I have to go to bed tonight. I haven't seen your painting. So then that was one night I was very late, like
Uh-huh.
kind of painted. It just wasn't working out that day. So, so I guess that made me aware of, you know, there was people waiting in different time zones for it.
Yeah,
But
I
I
love
felt
it.
the kind of the later I posted for Ireland was better because people in America were seeing it, then it was morning for them, and then I was
Hmm.
kind of getting Europe was, you know, it was sometime in the evening to nighttime there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I suppose it was just really when the painting was ready, I put it up.
Yeah. Sometimes I was so excited about the piece that I was doing that I would post. There were a few I posted like at, because typically I would do it in the evening and then post it the following morning. But there
Yeah.
were a couple I posted at like midnight my time because I was so excited. Like I wanted to, like, oh well, it'll be for the international people. They'll get to see them.
Yeah,
But
I know what you mean. But then
yeah.
I suppose, did you, like what I found as well, it wasn't just, you know, I wanted to have a nice picture of it too. So then it took me a little while to get a photograph of it.
Yeah.
And I scanned it. And
Hmm.
so I think that was one thing I thought about, which would be good if you had them pre-done. You can really like have nicely scanned pictures, nicely photograph or paintings, you know, for publicity
Yeah.
to use again. So yeah, that was something I didn't take into account, was all the time that it would take for the photography afterwards to get it up.
Yeah, I had the same challenge too, is
Yeah.
taking a nice photograph, and I will do that differently next time too. I mean, I was doing this with my iPhone and trying to get the lighting right and
Yours
you
were
know,
beautiful. I kept like looking at yours and going, how did she get them so nice? Because you could see the ones I did when it was very late, because the color is almost yellow. You know, it has that from
Mhm.
the lights being on, and I had no daylight, and
Yeah.
they didn't look as nice. So what I used to do was make videos of them and put them on the stories then, so
Oh,
people
that's nice.
get
The
a better look.
videos, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, people
Um,
seem to really like when they could see the videos, just because the light and I was the
mhm.
same. I was taking them on the iPhone, so it's
Mhm.
hard with like artificial light to get really good pictures of yourself.
Exactly. I was doing a little color correcting, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Because I'm like, that
definitely.
doesn't look like the piece. And even still, like there are things that really bug me about the photographs,
Yeah,
that I want to do differently next time. Have
yeah,
like a setup, like, you know, with a light or something where it'll make them standardized. I'm not sure, but I'm
yeah.
gonna do that differently next time
That
too.
I ruined so many mats that I bought like a load of, you know, the mats in bulk, but I ruined
Mhm.
so many of them from, you know, between taking the photos when the pictures were still wet and
Oh no,
like
that's
putting
right,
them
because
up.
yours are gonna still be wet.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
And then
Yeah.
I guess like I have them all. I'm in my studio now. Like there's all these ones that are just damaged because when I was painting, I would keep taking them and go, okay, does that look, you know,
Right,
do I look
right.
like? So that's one of my big tips, is buy extra mounts.
Hmm. Yeah.
um, because I just got like nearly almost exactly what I needed in a kind of a bulk order from a framing place, and now I have to
Right.
go to another framing company tomorrow and go and buy
Get some
extra at a
more.
much larger cost, just to cover the last ones that
Oh no.
I ruined so many.
Oh no. Next time you just have to have your one that you use
Yes.
to test to,
Yeah. Well, you
yeah.
see, I was using it to do my photos, and then when it would get dirty, then I had to change to another one, and so.
Those things that we run into are like, this is gonna be easy. I'll just paint
Yeah.
every day. And then there's all these other things, the
Oh,
matting. Like I
yeah.
decided maybe a week or two into the project that I was gonna mat the pieces. And then I
Okay.
realized, because I'm like, I'm just not happy mailing just the watercolors. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't, I would like, pull the tape off and the tape would rip it, but the painting was still beautiful. So I was like, I just need to mat these,
Yeah.
and so
So
that
much
did cut it
better.
into my, that was an added cost, but I felt like the pieces looked so much better matted, and I was so much prouder of the work to send it out that way. So, that's
Think as
definitely
well,
something I
it's
do.
an appealing thing for somebody that, like I did mine in 8 by 10 mounts, so I was very conscious to do it in a mount that would fit into like a standard frame, that people didn't
Yes.
have to spend a lot of money. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
here's some that I have to deliver. So mine were like that. I guess that's the
Yeah.
same. It wasn't just the business card on the back, but
Mm-hmm.
I was conscious about that, of that they wouldn't have too much more expense on top of the painting, that they could buy it for
Absolutely.
maybe €10 or something, and
Exactly. Yeah.
so I think people appreciated that, and for anyone who's given a gift, it looks like a gift.
Exactly. I totally. I'm a big proponent of going that extra step
Yeah,
to make sure that it's presented in just a really lovely way.
yeah.
I wanted to mention. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna like I had started. I have greeting cards as well, and I had started to stop using plastic bags, and I was tying them in like biodegradable twine. So that was one
Oh,
thing I found really hard, was I was trying to come up with like an eco way to wrap
yeah,
them, and I
yeah.
couldn't find like bags that were genuinely compostable if they were plastic, and the ones that they were, I mean, the cost of them were so prohibitive to what
That's
you.
so unfortunate.
Yeah,
It's really true. That's definitely something we need to start thinking about as
yeah,
artists, is how we're impacting, the materials we're using, how they're
yeah. So
impacting.
that was the one thing. I don't know if anyone can come up with a more better way, but it was like they kind of need to be in some kind of plastic packaging, really, or
Mhm.
I don't know if wrapping them in paper is gonna protect them enough.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially with white mounts, if you touch them at all, they get dirty so easily.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, no, I just wondered if you had come
I
across
I
any other
don't know.
eco
Still
practices.
using, the plastic, exactly the setup that you have there with the mat and the
Yeah,
plastic. But I'm so open to exploring other options for that. Or, if the standard is, and maybe there is just matting it, but then wrapping it in like a butcher paper or something.
yeah, yeah. Because
You
I wrote to so many companies that had like the packs that that you can get the three together, like the plastic and the backing
Yeah.
board
Yeah,
and
that's what I was doing.
the mat.
Hmm.
And nobody, like none of you cannot buy it in the pack with an eco plastic or a biodegradable plastic packet on it. So I
That's
thought that was like interesting as well. It just doesn't seem to be there, and you can buy them, but as I said, they're so
so
expensive.
expensive.
You'd have
There's
to be
just,
charging a lot for
yeah.
your artwork.
Well, I like that you were writing to them, and I might do the same. I think the more that we request those from manufacturers, the more they're going to start looking for alternatives, because, if we stop buying them, they'll figure
Yeah,
something out.
exactly. That was my one thing that made me feel guilty when I wrapped them.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
There is a lot of packaging that goes into this, and there's the envelope, and then there's, that to ship it in, and yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, there is I suppose that's one thing for anybody who's doing it. You really do need to nearly check the price of all of those things before you cost your artwork. Like I did
Yeah.
mine at €40, which is like around $44, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, so like the ones that I did though, the paintings I did, I would probably normally sell them for over 100 if they were like
Right.
professionally framed.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
people were really, I guess, getting a good deal with
Definitely.
the price of
Yeah.
the picture.
Hmm.
But I suppose I just wanted to like to see it was an experiment,
Hmm. I think
and
that's important. Yeah.
yeah, to try at that price and just see how it went.
Hmm.
But yeah, you definitely, I mean, especially if you take into, I did like you did, I did like free, the postage was included.
Hmm.
Um, and then like you say, if you have to ship to Australia or somewhere else, it's taking a chunk. I
Yep.
was looking, a lot of them I was actually able to hand deliver.
I did the
So
same. Yeah.
yeah,
We're local. Hmm.
so
Yeah.
that really helped, and I was kind of felt better as well because I was really nervous when I was posting some of them, would they get bent or this kind of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So so that helped a lot to cut down on the cost. But I would say anyone who's doing it to definitely know your packaging costs.
Yeah, that's something I didn't get into. I didn't plan ahead for either, and definitely probably should have priced mine higher. Mine were only $25 US.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
about your price afterwards, and I was like, how did she do that?
I broke it down though. It was still like really fairly profitable considering. So it worked. Um, But yeah, it's something to do the research and do the planning, because there's the packaging, there's the matting, there's the postage, and then there's of course all the time painting, the time that you spend posting, responding to comments, responding to messages. I think what I try to think of it more holistically, like this is an isolated campaign, and there's there's a certain ROI for the return on your investment for the little campaign, but on the broader sense, you're getting increased engagement from your followers. You're creating relationships with them. I mean, how many more direct messages did you get over that month? Probably so many more. I know I did.
Yeah.
And just creating that collector, really, someone, this is kind of an entryway to collecting your art. They'll probably come back in the future or continue to, be a fan. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's so worth it.
Definitely. And there was one thing that I found interest. I was gonna do what you did. You waited till the end of the month to post them all, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I did them all at once.
Yeah, that's I thought about that too, and I was like, gee, oh my God, how did she do it? Because it took me so long even to do a couple of them.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking about you doing all of them, but what I think I was more excited to give them. So I actually if I could hand deliver them, I did them
Oh,
very
I
quickly.
love that. You just,
And so
yeah.
I was delivering them every week. But what I found was that some of the people who got them, they came back and they bought another one straight away.
That's so great.
Yeah, so when they actually saw it, they were like, "Oh my God, this is so much better than it looks online." Obviously, because of my Instagram.
Yeah.
But that really bumped up the sales because
That's
there was a lot
amazing.
of, because I suppose at the beginning I had pre-sold maybe about 2 weeks worth. And then I guess as people saw it as they were going along, more and more people started to buy to fill up,
Mhm.
the whole amount of time. So that might be something that other people might consider, that, if you feel that maybe your sales aren't fully, you haven't got
Mhm.
one, don't worry, because people they buy as they see the momentum building
Mhm.
in it,
That that's actually a great idea, and just made me think that next time I do this, I like that idea of shipping earlier or delivering, and then requesting and saying, "Hey, will you post this?" I mean, I had some people who posted like so excited to receive, the painting, but
Yeah,
it was a month later after it was over. But if you had people doing that sooner and kind of promoting it for you in a way, it could extend your reach and have new
definitely.
people, or coming and participating too.
Yeah, because I had people send me photos. They went, because they could get ready-made frames. They were popping them into ready-made frames very
Exactly. Yeah.
fast. They
Yeah.
were sending me pictures of it already hung in their house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can market it from a lot of different angles then, if people are willing to send you photographs as it's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to mention something that I thought was amazing when I was looking at your feed, Michelle. So I think a lot of us artists feel like we have to have millions of followers to be
Yeah.
successful doing something like this. But you only have, not only, this is a good
No, but
audience,
I have
but
a very
you
low,
have a
yeah.
little over 700 followers. Like
Yeah.
and you had so much engagement. That means that those 700 followers are big fans, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And I just want to mention that, because I think people are like, well, I have to wait till I have more followers to do something
Yeah.
like this. I won't get people to engage. But you don't have to have 10,000 followers to get some really amazing engagement and sales with your art. Like,
I suppose
so.
that was one thing when I saw your page first, and then I saw how many followers you had, between your art page and
Mhm.
your art. I was like, oh, no wonder she sold that many. Like, I was thinking this first, and I
Right.
was like, okay, maybe even if I sell 10 of them, at least I've made myself do a month worth of painting. And then
Yeah.
I just thought I can always frame them nicely afterwards and bring them to exhibitions.
Yeah.
So I kind of was just like, oh, okay, I'll just do it. And that's how I got rid of the fear. But that was one of my fears at the beginning, was when I saw your number. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
that's easy if you have that many people.
Right.
Yeah, it just shows that there's people sitting there, and the majority of people who bought the work, like they never, even the people that knew me, they hadn't bought work before.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I think because I had just done the big exhibition as well beforehand, and I suppose the pieces were a lot more expensive and they were like a lot bigger. Some of them were like 6 foot canvases, you know. And they obviously they were ones that either they didn't have the space for, or that, you know, they were obviously much more expensive.
Right.
And this was an opportunity for them to own a piece of my work if they liked it, you know, at an affordable price, and it's a size that you can fit in most houses. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you went for it anyway, and you didn't let that, you know, that thought keep you from trying it. And you know, and you would have been fine even if you didn't sell them all. You would have, you know, been able to sell them in the future. But I'm so glad it worked.
Only for you, like.
What's that?
I said only for you and your brilliant idea. And I have to say, so many people were just like, oh my God, this idea is amazing. And I was like, it's not mine. You have to check this girl out. She's so
well, thank you. No, I am just thrilled that
spreading the name around Ireland.
It's awesome. It's so exciting to me that it's worked. It's worked for you and for other artists too. I've been so surprised. I've received there's maybe like 5 or 6 other artists who have messaged me and said, I've tried this and this is amazing. Yeah. And so that just thrills me to no end. Like I want people selling their art.
Even for like an artist, for your own development, like you paint, like I normally wouldn't paint every single day unless I had something coming up, you know, and then sometimes I would leave kind of bigger gaps where I just, you know, when you get into that kind of maybe you just don't feel like doing it, but this way you had to do it and you had to see what was coming out every single day. And I definitely saw in a month, which is very short, really,
it really is,
your art can develop over that month.
Absolutely.
And I can definitely see where things that came up in the paintings now, I'm going to bring them on to bigger paintings. I'm going to take whatever, like you're saying with the gold.
Yeah.
I love gold. I'm decorating my house at the minute and there's so much gold.
Love it. I love it.
Like a magpie. But yeah, I think even if you just do it for yourself and try, I know obviously like the first day I was like, nobody paints. And I know that's obviously your ego takes a little bit of a bash to it, but if you can try and go in, I suppose I really tried to go into it with an idea of, okay, look, you know, all this stuff is just on the internet. There's nobody beside me going, I don't like your pictures. I don't know what comments they're saying. It's just me in my little studio, which is a small bedroom in my house, just working away, and I'm posting these things, but I suppose the thing is maybe try not to give so much importance to what's being said, and even though it's so much fun and it's you know it's really nice, but I guess try not to give so much importance to that. To try and do it for yourself. And that was one thing that when I would see people really liked a certain theme or a certain picture or whatever that I put up, like the animals, I do a lot of animals, but I know people were like, there was ones with cats and dogs and I knew people wanted more of those. I actually tried to guide myself away from doing those. I kind of felt like, okay, well, I'm not going to learn anything from that if I do that. So I suppose that was me risking not making a sale for the fact that maybe I might learn something more artistically.
And I think that's really important, Michelle. I love that you're bringing that up because it's so, you know, it's a very, very hard balance that we get into when we start selling our art, because you want to sell things, you want to create things that people will buy, you want to be you know, able to do that, but then you also want to be able to continue to grow and explore as an artist. And I think like if we continually are going in the direction of what's fulfilling us as artists, what's helping us grow, what's pushing you, what you're inspired by, like you really can't go wrong with that, because eventually, you know, there's plenty of cats and dog artwork in the world. Like if that's really what they want, they can find that. But you know what other magical, amazing thing are you going to find outside of that too? And also just, you can have a balance. I mean, obviously you still did animal work, and then you know, push yourself in another direction too. I think that's a really that's a really good check into yourself of like, what's my motivation here behind the work that I'm creating. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's not all about what people will buy and what people are going to snap up. It's really about creating a sustainable practice that fulfills us, you know. So I love that.
No, well, I said, I think you can get everything out of this one challenge. I mean, you can learn for yourself, you can make some income, which we all need, and then you can get new followers, and then you new people appreciating your work. So
absolutely,
I think it gives so much, even if you're not charging that much for it. I think it gives more than, you know, I think you get a lot back from it.
Absolutely. When you look at it holistically like that, and that's the takeaway, that's really how I approached it too, is there are so many different ways that this is benefiting me as an artist. It's getting me in the studio every day, whether I like it or not. It's increasing engagement with my audience. It's selling some art. I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of that. So I'm glad you felt the same way.
Is there anything that you wish, like after doing it for 2 years now, is there any big changes you would make, or anything that you wished you do differently, or that you will do differently?
I think next time I'm going to charge a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you should.
Or charge for shipping. I wasn't really disappointed with the sales. I was, you know, or what the money I made on it. I wasn't disappointed with that at all, because that wasn't like my ultimate motivation. Wasn't to like, you know, make a certain amount of money. But I do think that that there's opportunity to charge a little bit more. And then I think just some more of the organizational stuff I'll do differently, like having a setup in the corner of my studio where this is where I photograph my work, and I plan ahead for the lighting, and probably do some of the things in advance. And I just, from our conversation today, shipping things earlier so that there's, you know, a little bit of buzz about it from people. So I think those would be the things I would change. But for the most part, I was really happy with how it went this last time. And, you know, so yeah. What about you?
What sometimes I hadn't thought about was near the end of it, somebody put a comment under one of the paintings that had been dibbed, and I guess she had wanted it, but she's like, "Are you gonna make prints of these?"
Oh,
something I hadn't thought of, and so that's what I'm actually just start doing it the last 2 days. I've started to because there's 30 of them. I don't want to have this huge collection of prints, because I don't tend to do, I guess, marketplaces or things like that where they're going to be exposed that much. And as you said, my following is still quite low to sell like a huge amount of prints online. So what I'm doing is, have you heard of Saatchi Online?
Yeah,
I guess.
And they do print on demand, don't they?
Yeah, they do print on demand. So what I'm going to do is, I've only put up like 2 at the moment, but I'm going to upload them all there. And then if people want them, they can get them from there.
I like that.
I guess that's something, that's an extra like thing, or an extra stream of revenue that can come out of it, is that you have 30 paintings. And if you have them properly scanned or properly photographed, you can use them again down the line.
Absolutely.
So then I had wondered if I did it again, would I put the print up as well the day after it had been dibbed? You know, for people who missed out on it. But then I wondered, would it affect the sales of the other pictures?
I think that it might, and I think it also might affect people's motivation to try to grab up the original. So I would be careful with that. And that is one thing that's always a little bit risky with prints, are prints going to cut into your original art sales? And I think, so that's, maybe only do it like a few months later or something.
So that's, I'm just kind of, I guess I'm doing them now. I suppose it's before Christmas, and people have asked, I guess, if they want to.
Around Christmas, that makes sense.
So like, it's going to take me a while to put all of them up. but it was definitely something I hadn't thought about before.
Right.
So yeah, but just to throw it out there, maybe for
Mhm.
people that maybe, you know, it is take good photographs. Make sure that you're,
Right.
if you have a scanner or you have somebody who does your work, like have them that the pictures are good enough quality to be able
Mm. Well,
to
that's
use.
the other thing. Like, I know I couldn't do prints of mine that I've already shipped off because I just have these crappy iPhone pictures of them. So, yeah.
I scanned all of them.
Oh,
So
good, good.
that's the great thing, I guess, because there's mine were 5 by 7, and I
Mm-hmm.
put them in an 8 by 10 mount. Uh,
Perfect.
so they're like they were perfect to fit in the scanner.
That's
So
perfect.
yeah, so maybe that's another idea for people to keep them in a level if you have a scanner that, or
Mm-hmm.
you have a proper setup like for photographs, like you were saying. It's
Yeah.
just to think about the quality of the pictures
Mm-hmm.
we're using again.
I like that idea. So what else? Is there anything else we haven't covered with this? It's been super fun to chat with you though, Michelle. I'm glad we got to talk in person.
I wrote down a few little things, tips earlier. What had I learned from it? One thing was I contacted my local paper, like I had told you,
Mm-hmm.
because I could see that they were buying the pictures. And so
Mm-hmm.
they did an interview with me, one of the journalists
I
there,
love it.
Damien McCartney. So that's going to be published this week in the paper. They wanted to,
Fantastic.
and so that was one of the reasons as well. Like they wanted to know how the 30 days had affected me, you know.
I love
So
it.
so yeah, that will come out next week. So I'll share that with you when
I
it
would
comes
love
out.
to. I'd love to
So,
share that online to my audience too. That's
so
awesome.
do contact your local like paper or radio
Absolutely.
station, and because you know they might be really interested in seeing. People seem to be really interested in how did it affect you, or how do you
Mm-hmm.
come up with the pictures every day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that I just sit down and pray that something shows up.
And just keep that mantra. It's only 30 days. It's only 30 days. Like 30 days is
Yeah.
not that long. You can do anything for 30 days.
Yeah, I know when you're coming near the end, you're like, oh my God, it's been such a long slog. But then when you
Right.
finish it, you're like, oh, it's finished already. And
Yeah.
what do I do now?
I love it. And I love that you contacted your local paper. It's also a good opportunity to, if you have an email list, to send it. Well, this is what I did first when I did mine, is I sent an email invitation to anyone on my list and saying, this is what I'm doing. You're invited to participate, and they were the first people to hear about it. And
Yeah,
so I think, one thing I would do, and I think I mentioned this in the video I did before, is I would email my list more than once. I only emailed my list
yeah,
once, and that's kind of bad marketing best practices. So like I would have probably done that maybe a couple more times throughout the month, or
yeah.
maybe at least one other time.
I
Um,
I made that mistake as well. I think I only did it once. I did it, I think, after the first week or so. And so I showed the pictures like these have been the first week, but I should have done it beforehand as well. Uh,
mm-hmm,
and then I think as things just they were rolling so fast and I had a lot of the slots already filled,
mm-hmm,
I didn't send out any more emails, but I probably should have. And I should have sent one at the end, maybe to say like, this is what I've done. These are all
mm-hmm,
the pictures.
mm-hmm.
But I guess if I put them up as prints now, maybe I can do that as
That's
another
an
newsletter.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
show them.
I like
Um,
that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's so many things that you can learn from it. But
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say a huge thank you to you for
Of
the
course.
idea. It's
Yeah.
pure genius.
No, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Was there anything else on your list that we haven't talked about, or things you learned?
I think that we talked about most of the things.
Okay.
And yeah, was there anything else for you?
No, only that you said something earlier about how it sparked an idea about how to create more of an interactive buying experience
Yeah,
with our audience, and I think that that's something to continually think about and try to come up with creative ways to be engaging, and
yeah,
I haven't come up with anything like this yet. I've been wanting to like something similar to this, but new. And I haven't yet, but it's something that is very top of mind for me, is
yeah,
that interactive experience that we have with our audience. And I think sometimes we forget about, we get in the studio and we're making work, and it's, we're in our creative space, and to like have to go out and interact with the world with our art is a different activity. It's a different energy that it takes, and so I'm always looking for new ways to explore that, and I'm just excited that I can share this with other artists as we go along the journey together.
I think you're so good to share it, because I think a lot of artists will go, this is mine now, I'm keeping it. I thought you were so good to give all the details and to be like, I think that's what really helped me, that you were just like, okay, you could just go to my website and just use the text, and
I put the text to I mean, you could copy it from my Instagram post too. I mean, it's like stealing is there's nothing more, there's no more flattery than so and honestly, like it doesn't do it only like brings me joy to see other artists succeed in the world, and it doesn't take anything away from me at all. It only adds. So I like no, I can't be selfish with ideas. I don't think any of us should be. So
I thought the way you did it was like super generous. Like you made, you were totally like, take the information, copy me. Whereas I think some artists maybe wouldn't be as open about that. And I thought that was so kind and generous of you. And I hope it comes back to you a million times fold and good. Really.
It totally does. Just interactions like this. Like I just love it. It's wonderful. So
but one more thing that I think for like lately I started to kind of apply to a lot of different applications for exhibitions and to do bigger shows and things like that. And I started writing in that I had done this 30-day challenge.
Oh, cool.
I used some of the images as part of the submission. And they did seem to be really impressed that it was a challenge that I had completed. And like one of the shows I got accepted to was the Star Art Fair next September in the Saatchi Gallery.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah. Which for me, like I have a very small following. Like I in Ireland, I'm not really that known. I'm still at a very, very early stage of my career. And now, and that was one of the big things I put in the application was because I had done the first week, or I was in the beginning of the week when I made the application, and it was that I'd started doing this, and the work that was there, I would develop that into bigger pieces for the show from, the ideas that had come up.
I love it.
It worked because they accepted me to show there. So
that's so exciting. Well, first of all, I'm so excited for you that you got into that show. And also I think it does show a level of dedication, and this is something that you are committed to and you're continually growing from, and it's true that these smaller pieces and I was thinking about this for my own work, they're almost like these sketches, right? You're getting ideas out quickly, and there's a lot to develop from that. So I think that's a really cool thing that you added to your application. I would not have even thought of that.
Yeah, definitely. There was another magazine I applied to as well that had a call out, and that was one of the things they wrote on the message back. We just love that you're doing this, and we haven't heard of any other artists that are doing this. So
you're just getting out there. This is amazing. No, this is so inspiring to me though, because I hadn't even thought of talking about this in a big way like that. I love it.
So yeah, so that's a good thing. Tell people about it. I think it's like it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a huge amount of work to put in.
It's a lot of work.
So I think people appreciate when they see somebody has put that much effort into something.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's a level of commitment. You're showing your level of commitment to your art.
Are. Well, thank you for doing this. Like, you didn't just do the 30 days, like you did it all the way and then some. So thank you for like really taking it on in such a big way. Like I'm so impressed. It's wonderful.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Your art is beautiful. So for anyone watching this, please go check out Michelle's Instagram. It's so amazing. So yeah, beautiful work. I'm excited to see what you do. Like, you said this is kind of the beginning. Like you're gonna do this in a big way. It's gonna be exciting to watch.
Oh, I suppose I'm trying to push it as far as I could go. Like I think I kind of got I suppose you can be like kind of, I guess, lazy sometimes about it. And now I'm just like, okay, I want this to be my career. So I
Hmm.
just have to go for it. And you run it like any other business. You like,
That's
this is my
right.
business, this is my job, this is like, I need to make this work. If I don't want to have to go back to a 9 to 5 office job, that's,
This is what it takes. That's
yeah,
what it takes. Hmm.
yeah. So,
Love it.
but thank you so much for you and for everything that
Yeah.
you're doing for artists and all your incredible ideas. I'm waiting for you to come up with something else now so I can copy it.
Now I'm feeling the pressure. This is good. This
Yeah,
is really good. Now I've been sharing actually with my folks in my Spark group, that I want to come up with some new promotional ideas. I mean, there's so much opportunity for us. Instagram's amazing. Social media is amazing. I mean, it's, there's pros and cons, but I
yeah,
think it really gives us, I mean, you're across the world. I'm in California, you're in Ireland, and we're talking about this. I mean, it connected us, and it just excites me so much, the opportunity that we have. So
yeah.
yeah, thank
No, but
you.
the things that you put in your Spark Your Art group are fantastic. They're such helpful tips for
Oh,
artists. So
good.
everybody go check it out if you haven't listened.
I need to come up with some new promotion ideas. This is
Yeah.
gonna be good. This is gonna be good. It's
I'm
good. Good
watching. I'm
talk for
like
me.
checking your page every day to see what did she come up with next.
Ew. Well, I'm excited to share this. I think this is such an amazing case study for just, going for it,
Yeah.
even if, and this isn't the kind of thing that has to be 30 days. It could be
No,
10 days.
yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't have to take over your life, but I think there is some benefit to doing a significant amount of time, but
yeah.
sometimes that's not realistic. So,
It's
see what
definitely
you
the first challenge I've ever kept. I've always been, that was another reason I never did any of these Inktober's or these kind of things. I just
Mhm.
knew I wouldn't keep it. But the
Yeah,
fact that the paintings are sold beforehand is a really good motivator.
that's a big
You have no
motivator.
choice. And I
And
think I need to be put under that level of pressure to complete something like
yeah, I'm the same way. I have to have that that outside, pressure. And a
mm,
lot of times when I said 30 days, I didn't think through what that really meant. I
yeah,
was just like, 30 days, let's do this. And as soon as I say that to my audience, as soon as I tell people that's what's happening, I have this like, all right, I have to do it. This is
yeah,
how, whether everyone's expecting me to do it or not, I said I'd do it, so I gotta do it.
yeah.
So yeah, for anyone
Obviously,
watching,
those kind of
jump
personalities
in.
that just need that accountability, I guess.
That's right. Yep. Mhm. Well,
Okay.
this has been awesome chatting with you. Is there anything
Yeah.
else before we
No,
wrap up?
I think that's everything.
I love it.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see what I did during the 30 days, they can have a look at my Instagram. It's
Oh yeah,
Michelle
what's your
Harton Art.
handle?
Yeah, it's Michelle, Michelle, Harton, Horton Art.
And
Yeah, they can see everything there.
cool. And do you have a website?
Yeah, I do. It's Michelle Harton Art as well, .com.
Okay.
So
And
if
I'll
it,
post those links however I
oh,
post this video, I'll post those
perfect.
links in there.
Thank
Um,
you so much.
yeah, so thank you. All right.
Thank you very much. Take care.
You too.
Bye bye.